Hello, welcome back to my channel. This morning I am getting ready to go do a little shopping trip at Barnes. I'm going solo, so I'm not on anybody else's time. It's Sunday, my husband is golfing. It's kind of gloomy outside. It's 65 degrees out, so we're starting to see some fall temperatures. I am looking a little scraggly this morning. I curled my hair yesterday and it all just kind of fell, so I am going to be touching it up, but I figured let's have a little chat while I'm getting ready. I have had this curling iron. It's just a little Remington curling iron. I think I got it from like TJ Maxx or Target. I've had this thing for like 5 years and it's still going strong, so I kind of want to try like the Shark Dyson dupe, but I don't know. This works perfectly fine, and my blow dryer worked perfectly fine. I'm just succumbing to the hype of wanting something new. I don't need to spend money on it. I'd rather spend money on books. So anyway, yeah, husband's gone. I had a little bit of breakfast. I made the bed, threw in a little laundry, and I just have the day to myself. So I figured I'm gonna make the drive out to Barnes & Noble. It's like 30 minutes away from me, so I don't get out there all the time, but since I have kind of an open day, I'm gonna edit the video that I'm gonna be posting later, sit down, have a coffee, probably get a matcha because I already had a cup of coffee this morning. Right now, I just need to get myself looking a little bit more presentable to be going out in public. I don't know if anybody has any recommendations on a new curling iron. This one, I honestly don't even know how, like what the thickness of this barrel is, but I kind of want to try something smaller because I think that's part of the issue that I'm having is I'm using this kind of thicker barrel and the waves look really good. They're just not tight enough to last. I don't know, maybe it's also because I washed my hair yesterday, so since it was clean, it wasn't holding the curls quite as well. Maybe now that it's been a day, it'll hold everything a little bit better. I'm not trying to do anything crazy. I just want to touch it up so it looks a little bit more fresh and not like I just rolled out of bed. It's also, I'm not having a great time with my skin right now. As you can probably tell, I don't know, I'm using the back camera on my phone right now. I haven't paid for an expensive camera because I just don't know that it's worth the investment at this point in time, but as my following grows on here, hopefully I can start investing in some nicer equipment to produce a little bit of better quality videos. The audio, I really don't know how it's going to sound in here. I'm in my bathroom. I don't know what the echoes are going to be like, but we're just sending it. All these videos, we're just playing around. We're trying different things. We're seeing what the people want to see. I'm having tons of fun making this I almost called it Bookstagram, but this booktube page, I'm just having a lot of fun getting those creative juices flowing and editing my videos, thinking of ideas. I tried to start a little book club with some girls that live locally. It hasn't really picked up the way that I want it to, so I'm hoping that I can build a little bit more of a community with this YouTube page. Okay, this side is done. A little bit more fresh than what it was looking like. Don't get me wrong, I love the look of like some loose, kind of lived-in curls, but I just couldn't deal with it the way that it was looking. I tried to brush it out and I think I made it worse. Okay, curls are done. Okay, now I'm just gonna walk you through kind of like my daily kind of makeup routine. I really don't wear a lot of makeup, and I recently was introduced to the brand, I don't know if you can see this, Merit by my sister, and I'm obsessed. I have their concealer stick, which is literally upside down. Just this little kind of like a foundation stick. You just use it to like do some little color correction, spot correction. I have their bronzing stick. This is super nice and super easy to use. There, what is this? Oh, the highlight stick. This one I've had for several months, and you can tell like there's still tons of product left. So I think I use it so infrequently. It lasts really well. And then their little blush balm thing is really, really nice. This is just such a nice natural color. What I love about all of their stuff is that it just, you can like use your fingers or you can use their little blending brush that I bought. Gimmicky, probably could have gotten the same brush at Target for half the price, but when I got obsessed with the brand, I just started using all of it, okay? Don't judge me. Okay, so I'm gonna start with, not Merit. I'm gonna start with this Dermatology Universal, can you see that? Universal Tinted Sunscreen. I'm hoping that you can read that. This stuff is, I think, my third bottle of this. I love this stuff. It is like so natural. I use 3 pumps because I have very sensitive skin to the sun, and I like to make sure that I'm getting full coverage. Sometimes I use too much, but if you do, you just bring it down to your neck, because this is an important part that I feel like a lot of people forget. And like, make sure you get it up in your hairline. But this stuff, I mean, it's a moisturizer, it's a sunscreen. Doesn't have a scent to it or anything. I mean, it has like a little bit of a smell, but it doesn't have any fragrances, which I love. It doesn't clog my pores. Hope that you can see what I'm doing when I'm using this. So after I let my sunscreen kind of sit for a couple of minutes, let it soak in, I just use a little bit of this concealer stick for my under eyes, and then just whatever little miscellaneous spots I feel like I want to cover. And that's literally the extent of my foundation routine. Then I use their little blending brush and just kind of blend it in, and it gives a nice natural blendable coverage. I like to put this up a little bit on my eyelids too, to just make that color a little bit more even. And this spot up here, I woke up with this morning, and it's, you know, we're not perfect. We're showing the flaws. We're just trying to make them not as obvious. So not a huge difference, but to me, it just gives that like just subtle little bit of coverage that makes me feel more awake and more put together. Then I go in with my bronzer stick. I just do one little swipe here, one little swipe here. And I actually don't even really use a brush for this. I just use my finger and kind of blend it up. It's hard to talk while I'm doing this. Give my face a little bit more contour. I am by no means a makeup expert, but this stuff is nice because it just gives me that extra little bit of confidence when I'm going out for my day. Next, I kind of smile and get the apples of my cheeks. I think you can tell in this, like the difference here. It might look a little dark right now. Don't judge my face. Get that on there, kind of blend it out, bring it up a little bit. I have some natural color to my skin, so I don't need a ton, but this just helps kind of, like if I put the foundation down too far, it just helps bring some of that color back into my cheeks. Then I go in with the highlighter stick. I just use a little bit here on the top of my cheekbones, a little bit under my eyebrows, and the nose and the upper lip, the usual. Nothing crazy, just blend it in. Gives you a beautiful, nice, dewy glow. Love this stuff. I love the way that it feels on my skin because I have very dry skin, so this does not seem to like dry it out anymore. Kind of adds a nice little layer of moisture on top of that sunscreen that I put on. Once I do that, curl my eyelashes. My eyelashes are like straight, so I'm still trying to figure out what's best for my lashes, but I've been using this Sky High mascara by Maybelline. I just pick it up at Target. I've been using this for like 2 years, I think, and I really like it because it's not super thick, and so it doesn't weigh them down and straighten them back up. So once I've curled them, this just keeps them nice and defined. Nice difference there. Okay, and then the last thing that I do is I brush up my eyebrows a little bit. I don't like to overdo it on the brows since I don't wear a lot of makeup. I feel like when you don't wear a lot of makeup and you make your eyebrows super dark and thick, it kind of looks ridiculous. I use this Benefit 24-hour brow setter. See it? Two sides to this little brush. So there's like longer bristles on one side and shorter on the other. I don't really have a preference on one or the other, but I just like to do it to give my brows a little bit of definition. My eyebrows are kind of sparse, but they're long. So I just like to make them be kind of under control. Okay, now that I finished my makeup stuff, I am going to run a comb through the curls to brush them out and make them blend together a little bit more. Nice and curly and fresh. And I think I'm gonna go get dressed now. Okay, so this is the fit that we're rocking today. I have this adorable little sweater that I got off Etsy. It says books and coffee, and it's just so cute and perfect for a little shopping day at Barnes. Here is my little Barnes bag that I got with my membership. I have the book that I'm currently reading in there, Iron Gold. I'm gonna take that with me. I'm also gonna grab my laptop and my headphones to do a little bit of editing while I'm there. Okay, let's try this again. I just tried to show you my body spray that I like to use that I've been using lately from Sephora, the After Hours by Sol de Janeiro. But since I'm using my phone and I'm trying to use the back camera, I did not see that I wasn't in the frame. Use this, give myself a couple spritz, one in the hair. It's just so good. Anyway, let's get to Barnes. All right, guys, I made it to Barnes. It only took me about 20 minutes as opposed to the normal 30 that I expected. So off to a great start already. I'm not looking for anything specifically. I'm just gonna go in and browse the shelves, see what they have, see if there's anything that catches my eye. But like I said before, I'm just gonna take my time today because I'm not on anyone else's time schedule. I'm not going with anybody. It's just gonna be me and the books. So let's pop into Barnes and see what they have. Back home, I had a pretty successful Barnes book haul. There was one more book that I wanted to get, but I decided to wait on it. I figured I should get through the books that I have now, and I will add some more to the collection once I make my way through these a little bit more. So let me just go over really quickly the books that I got while I was at Barnes. I was there for probably 2 hours, but I didn't get that much work done. As soon as I sat down, my husband called me and said he was in the area and he wanted to go get some food. So I ended up leaving with him and we went to grab some lunch and then hit the grocery store. Now I'm back home. But before I forget, I want to go over the 4 books that I got. I did end up getting a couple of romance novels because I realized I am seriously lacking in that department on my shelf here. I've still been reading science fiction and fantasy, but it's fine. I just wanted to get a few things to mix it up in case I feel like I want to. The first book that I got is The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. This one I have seen all over BookTube. People are rating this one quite highly. This one is about a gorgeous love story from one of the finest romance writers out there. Sometimes the worst day of your life happens and you have to figure out how to live after it. For Clementine West, that means burying her head in her work as a book publicist, being practical, and forgetting the silly things that her beloved Analea taught her, like living wide and chasing the moon. Clementine would rather stay grounded and keep her heart safe. For the last 6 months, she's done just that. But when she moves into her late aunt's apartment and finds a strange man sitting in the kitchen, a man with kind eyes, a southern drawl, and a taste for lemon pies, her well-laid plans begin to fall apart. Because he's the type of man who, before it all, she would have fallen head over heels for. And she still might. Except that he exists in the past, 7 years in the past to be exact, and she quite literally lives 7 years in his future. Her aunt always said the apartment was a pinch in time, a place where moments blended together like watercolors. She also said that love is never a matter of time, but a matter of timing. And Clementine fears she may be 7 years too late. Sounds like a cute little story. It's not super long. Oh, the text is a decent size. So yeah, Haley Pham and Sarah Caroli have read this and I follow them and they've said that this book was really good and it was a quick read. So looking forward to this one. The next one I got is Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I've read several of her books. I love her writing style. I love her stories and her characters. This one I think is the first book in this series. It's like I think it's the Part of Your World series, but this one is about after a wild bet, gourmet grilled cheese sandwich, and a cuddle with a baby goat, Alexis Montgomery has her world turned upside down. The cause? Daniel Grant, a ridiculously hot carpenter who's 10 years younger than her and as casual as they come. The complete opposite of sophisticated city girl Alexis, and yet their chemistry is undeniable. While her ultra-wealthy parents want her to carry on the family legacy of world-renowned surgeons, Alexis doesn't need glory or fame. She's fine with being a mere ER doctor. And every minute she spends with Daniel in the tight-knit town where she lives, she's discovering just what's really important. Yet letting her relationship become anything more than a short-term fling would mean turning her back on her family and giving up the opportunity to help thousands of people. Bringing Daniel into her world is impossible, and yet she can't just give up with the joy she's found with him either. With so many differences between them, how can Alexis possibly choose between her world and his? Keep you guys posted on how this one is, but I've really enjoyed Abby Jimenez's book, so I don't think this will be any different. The next one that I've also seen, Sarah Caroli and I believe Haley Pham has also read this one, is The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is a young adult novel, so I don't know if it'll really be for me since I'm approaching 30, but I've heard the story is really good, so I figured I'd give it a chance. This book was only $10, so not too bad. I got the paperback instead of the hardcover. Avery Grams has a plan for a better future. Survive high school, win a scholarship, and get out. But her luck changes in an instant when billionaire Tobias Hawthorne dies and leaves her virtually his entire fortune. The only catch? Avery must move into his sprawling mansion full of secret passages, riddles, and codes. Unfortunately for Avery, Hawthorne House is also occupied by the family that was just disinherited. This includes the 4 Hawthorne grandsons, dangerous, magnetic boys who grew up with every expectation that one day they would inherit billions. Heir apparent Grayson is convinced that Avery is a con woman and he's determined to take her down, but his brother Jameson views her as their grandfather's last hurrah. A twisted riddle, a puzzle to be solved. Caught in a world of wealth and privilege with danger around every turn, Avery will have to play the game herself just to survive. Sounds really cute. It sounds like it's going to be a fun little world. cute little story. Has pretty good reviews. It's a young adult book, but sometimes we need some of those easier reads in our life as a refresher. The last book that I picked up was Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. I have never read anything by this author, but people or readers who really enjoy the Red Rising series have also apparently really enjoyed books by this author. I think this book has like 600,000 reviews on Goodreads, so it's I think 4.5 stars, so it's got to be a good one. And as I was checking out with this one, the guy at the cash register was scanning all my books, and this was the last one in the stack, and he picked it up and he went, solid choice. So that's encouraging. I'll probably be picking this one up sooner than later. The mists rule the night, the Lord Ruler owns the world. Once, a hero arose to save the world. He failed. Ever since, the world has been a wasteland of ash and mist controlled by the immortal emperor known as the Lord Ruler. But hope survives. A new uprising is forming, one built around the ultimate caper, the cunning of a brilliant criminal mastermind, and the determination of an unlikely heroine, a street urchin who must learn to master the power of a Mistborn. The reviews on here say, quote, "It's a fascinating world, one that deserves a sequel, one of the finest fantasy stories I've ever read, and endlessly entertaining." Over 10 million Mistborn books sold, so that's a good sign. And it's a nice floppy book. We love some floppability where you can just lay it flat and it stays open. I love that. So that wraps up my little mini Barnes haul. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I have tons of other videos planned. I shouldn't have gone to Barnes on a Sunday because it was really busy, and I got some social anxiety while I was in there filming, so I got some shots, but not as many as I was planning on doing. Overall though, I hope that it was an enjoyable video. If you guys have any feedback, as always, or any thoughts on any of the books, feel free to leave them in the comments, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.